Keep that chop rolling. Keep it rolling. There we go. An encore presentation of Landon's 6-liter V8 in his Silverado. Truck Norris Cam providing the chop there. Hey, keep those car sounds rolling, by the way. Facebook.com/Automotive ADHD. Get them on the Facebook page, and then get them on my show, and maybe win some free stuff while you're at it. So, by the way, one thing I got to mention, we've been mentioning it every week here. Automotive ADHD is a proud supporter of Drift Colorado. Yes, make sure you get out to a Drift Colorado event. Even if you get out there just to spectate it, it's a lot of fun. A lot of good folks out there having a great time. And maybe if you want to get a car a little bit sideways, burn some tires, go out there too. Go take your car out there. It's a lot of fun. The next event coming up here is they are, by the way, today and tomorrow, they're at IMI for the Round 2 Formula Drift Pro-Am. And then September 6th and 7th is at PPIR, the Drift Clinic, and Round 4 DC Championship. Check it out at driftcolorado.com for details. Now, I talked about this at the top of the show. This is a decision that just has my mind blown, and as well as probably everyone who was at this dealership when it happened. A Florida man, here's the headline, hat tip Jerry Perez from The Drive. Florida man trades Ferrari F40 for Ineos Grenadier and $2.4 million in cash. Now, if I stopped the headline and just said Ineos Grenadier, everyone would be, just completely besides themselves. 2.4 million. See, there's still a problem with that in my book. Now, granted, it's this guy's F40 and his piece of metal. He can do what he wants with his piece of metal, even if he really wants to get it under market rate. And I guess really wants an Ineos Grenadier. Now, a lot of us are familiar with the Ineos Grenadier now at this point. In case you are not, that is a old school Land Rover look-alike type thing. So Land Rover stopped making the cool old school Land Rovers a long time ago, and people still want them. Land Rover doesn't want to make them. So Ineos is a company that does a lot of stuff. Ineos actually does like petroleum products and all these different things. Well, they have a CEO who said, I want an old Land Rover, but I can't go buy a new old Land Rover, so we're going to make one, and it actually works out pretty good. And, they're pricey. They are a bit pricey. They're on the higher, I won't say high end, but they're a luxury SUV, much like how a original Land Rover would be a luxury SUV. They're not that expensive, though. They're not trade your F40 in expensive. Now, I'm going to pull something up here while we're live, and I'm going to pull up a Ferrari F40 price for you because it's quite a bit more. We're going to do some math here. I was never good at math in school, but having said that, we're going to figure out how much money did this guy leave on the table? And I guess when you have F40 money, you can just leave F40 money on the table. I guess it doesn't really matter. But according to Classic.com, the average price for an F40, which, by the way, goes from 1987 to 1992. For many people, the F40 is their grail of an F40. It was the F40 that got them, or it was the Ferrari that got them into Ferraris. Each generation has a different car like that. For a lot of people, that F40 was the halo car for Ferrari for them. And, even Ferrari, we think of them as expensive, luxury sports cars. Well, even, how Toyota might have a halo car, as we call it, or Lexus, for example. Let's use the Lexus LFA. Absurdly expensive, absurdly over-engineered, incredibly cool. Most people aren't going to buy one. And this is higher up than, say, your Supra, for example. Now, most people aren't going to buy one, but it gets people talking. It's a tool of publicity, and it's going to get people into the showroom to buy an LC400 or whatever, right? Well, the same idea with the F40, okay? The F40 is way up there. let's see, the top sale, the most recent F40 sold, aside from this one will skew the numbers, sold for $3.2 million, with the top selling F40 being around $4 million. And the average of the pack is somewhere around 2.5 million, maybe a little bit higher. Bear in mind, there's not that many F40s out there. This guy, I mean, okay, it's not that egregious of a price difference, but the way he did it is just, it boggles the mind. Also because it boggles the mind in a way that is inconceivable, I guess, unless you have Ferrari F40 money. And maybe this makes perfect sense to you. I don't have Ferrari F40 money. And so this boggles my mind a little bit. But the guy basically walked into this Ineos dealership with his Ferrari F40. A side note, imagine being the sales guy on the floor at that dealership. And you see this F40 drive by and you're like, whoa, an F40, no way. And then he pulls into your dealership. Oh man, he's pulling in here. The guy gets out, walks into the dealership, and you're the first salesman. You grab the up, and then you go, well, what can I do for you? He's like, I want to trade this car in. Deer in headlights. What? What do you mean? So, and that's exactly how this unfolded. That is precisely how it unfolded. So the sales guy went back to his manager and probably said something along the lines of, hey, boss, this guy's got an F40. What do we do? And the boss immediately, they said, all right, we'll get you the Ineos Grenadier that you want and a check for $2.4 million. And, whoa, that sounds like a ton of money. It's more money than I've ever had. However, as I just showed you, 2.5 would be close to average. Really, we're pushing more like 3. Nicer examples, the highest of end examples are in the 4 million, right? And, you know, I guess this can happen at any level of car ownership. This certainly can happen at any level, right? And to this guy, who knows who he is, there's no word on where he got the F40, how he found it. Was he the original owner? Who knows? Maybe he was just a rich guy who said, this is just an old Ferrari. I'm not really into it. I'm not really into maintaining this thing. It's a pain in the butt. It gets too much attention. My wife doesn't like it. I don't know, right? When you have that kind of money, maybe that's still part of your decision-making process. You know, to those of us who are automotive enthusiasts who are salivating at just the idea of maybe getting to drive one of these cars some point in our lives, owning it. Oh, I don't even know about owning it. Granted, again, I don't know if I would want to own one of these, just considering the maintenance and considering some of the hype on it. You know, I don't know, but this guy did that. And now the dealership, meanwhile, they immediately, without dropping a beat, cut the dude a check for $2.4 million, and they flipped it the next day immediately, because of course they did, for $2.5 million. So they made themselves an extra $100,000 on that flip. That's not bad. That could be worse. If you're a dealership and you make $100,000 profit in a day, I mean, that is actually not bad. That's a good day. I remember when I was in college and I worked very briefly for a summer at a Acura dealership. And especially on like a certified pre-owned or a newer car, you were lucky to make a few $100 on a car like that as the dealer, not even the sales guy as the commission, but like as profit on that car. So anyway, would you do it? Would I do it? Well, I don't have an F40, so I can't speak to that. But well, let's just throw that. Let's see, Grenadier price. Let's just see here, just for the giggles here. Oh, that MSRP, it starts at $80,000. I hope he's happy with his Grenadier. I really do. Go figure. Go figure. Hey, we're going to keep this going on the bonus edition of the show. I didn't even get to a whole topic that I really wanted to, so you're going to have to tune into the podcast. We're going to talk about a Hemi that was stolen, or maybe not. That's right here on the podcast after this.